guys. They do magic. They are the Magic Guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 249 of the Magic Guys. I'm Josh Norbido. I'm hopped up on Mother Energy Drink, and to my left is Nick K.
That's right, friends. I'm Nick K, and I'm drinking Turkish coffee, which has a lot more caffeine than an average coffee.
Ooh, Turkish coffee. What's the lowdown? Is it stronger? That's apparently the enticement.
Apparently, it's pulverized coffee, which is made to a boil, and basically it's a black coffee that makes a black settlement of the coffee on the bottom of the cup, like it makes a sediment, which you don't drink. But
you know what?
Pretty buzzed.
You know what? Talking about buzz, I did something I shouldn't, which is we bought a new pre-workout for the gym, my partner and I. But you know how like you're just not used to like the dosage and flavor and the effect of it when you just switch to a new one. We switched to a new one and we had the recommended scoop, but it felt like it did nothing. And my partner Sandy, she agreed, right? So I'm like, all right. It's suggesting we put half the amount of water into what we normally do. So my thought is, we must have to double the dosage and double the water, and that will equal like what we normally have at the gym. Anyway, so I doubled it. So I have like 2.5 scoops. I'm like, this should do something. And I give my partner a bit more than 1 scoop. And I'm like, oh yeah, I can kind of feel it now. But I look at Sandy at the gym. She's like, but I forgot to tell her that I was just going to make it a bit stronger. And she's like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm kind of having heart palpitations. This feels like something's wrong here. And I'm like, oh God, almost kill my girlfriend from trying a higher dose of pre-workout. Anyway, Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, buddy. Yeah, I went through the same thing. I have one called Corrupt. I guess the name itself is probably enough to be a bit chill. If you take it and go mountain biking, you're okay. But if you take it and then don't go mountain biking because something happens or the rain and the tips of your fingers tingle, like you just feel full crackhead energy. It's great.
And that, my friends, is what we call beta-alanine. If you don't use it up, it'll get you. It'll give you the buzz, the tingles. I love what Dragotier is saying in the chat, which is 100% true. We get to start the new year with episode 250.
You bet.
So that's going to be dope.
Exactly. And the episode 250 will be our New Year's resolution.
Woo!
So keep that in mind. We will be posting in our Discord the speak pipes. We've already got a few already from you guys as to what your goals are for the new year being 2026. So have a think about it. You got a week to let us know. Let us know, put it out to the universe. We are a community and we will help you guys achieve what your goals are.
Yeah, shout out to Pasha and Caden. Already sent in their New Year's resolutions on the SpeakPipe, speakpipe.com/the Magic Guys. And what Nick's saying is so true. Be specific. Like there was a Facebook group I was in once where the goal at some point was to make a video and talk about our New Year's resolutions. Everything I said came true to the point where like the Facebook group went dark and no one used it anymore. But I specifically went back the next year just to redo my New Year's my New Year's resolutions. And I just explained like, hey guys, I know we don't post in here anymore, but like everything I wanted came true. So I'm just going to do it again here and just mind your business because this worked really well.
Yeah, well, let's actually like share that with everyone and what to do, because I've got a couple of things that I've done in the past myself, but that is good content for next week's episode. This week's episode is we have never done this before, and I'm like, why not? Let's do the Magic Guys annual awards, and we just wanted to award everyone on their excellence on the folks that we've met, interviewed, episodes we've done. So I just came up with as many silly ideas as I can. Come up with 10 in total, 10 fun ideas. And basically it's all the stuff that we, not only like myself, Doug, and Josh, but you, the listener, as to what we've sort of gotten up to. And so Drago says that he's dressed, Dragotier, I know you're sad that both Josh and myself aren't dressed to the nines for the award show, but that is something we'll keep in mind for next year. I am wearing pants. Idea. I'm wearing pants. That counts.
Yeah, that's rare. And I've stayed at his place And
Yeah.
you know, pants aren't a normal everyday item.
Don't
But
you
I
hate
love that idea. Like every year, it would be awesome to make the awards like bigger and better. That would be dope.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, it's my first go, okay, is what I'm trying to say. It's our first go. But yeah, we can certainly do it for next year. Maybe I'll wear a tuxedo shirt. You know, like the black t-shirts. It's like, you know, stupid ones.
Oh yeah, I remember. I used to rock that like an idiot. I remember seeing them at like some Sunday markets, and I was like, "Oh, this is really cool. I can be a magician even when I'm casual." But it's not that
Well,
casual.
just to explain how these worked, effectively, all I did was I was looking at our backlog over the past 50 odd episodes we've done in the year of 2025, and I made a list of the things that we'd achieved, whether it be spitball ideas, gig stories, etc. And I basically made a whole bunch of nominations, asked for people to be nominated, and then put the ability for you guys to vote for it on our Discord. And the votes are in, and these are the results.
Hell yeah! Do we need some kind of build up?
I don't know. Let's okay. We'll figure it out. Let's play.
Let me do this.
Yeah.
The annual 2025 awards now presented by Nick K.
Friends, our first award is the best spitball idea. As you know, the spitball episodes are about ideas that we have that aren't fully formed or fleshed out. And what we do is we spitball the idea amongst our community live on the episode. And then we all share ideas on how to either improve or achieve the spitball idea. We have 3 nominations for this category. First, we have Scotty Painter with what we call the mini canvas souvenir idea. As you know, Scotty is an amazing artist and has actually done animated episodes and shorts of our show. And in this episode of his, he had this idea that he had a tiny canvas about the size of a playing card where you would have a revelation written on there. And we spoke about the several ways to do that. And the beauty of it is that it would be a little canvas which you would gift to your spectator at the end of it. Beautiful, cool idea. Another idea.
Nice idea. Yeah.
It was such a nice idea, man. It was really fun. Another idea was actually an idea of mine. So Nick K was nominated for this one. The notion of this was the uncheatable deck. It was basically a premise to be able to do gambling demonstrations without you doing actual gambling demonstrations. The notion was that when people say to you, "Oh, I'd love to go to the casino with you," and you explain to your spectator, well, that's all well and good, but in the casinos, they use uncheatable decks. And then you grab like a Jerry's Nuggets casino deck and then show that you, no matter how hard you try to cheat, it doesn't happen. So for example, you can have an ace face up on the deck, and every time you try to deal yourself an ace, you would do second deals and like, I can't cheat with this deck. And that would be the whole premise of the routine. And then lastly, we have the revolutionary magician of Ask Magic, His Excellency Jack Grady. Now, Jack Grady called with the spitball idea, which was pretty fantastic. Now, the idea was this. Synesthesia is the ability to see colors, or like as in like through sound and whatever else. And his idea was to be like blindfolded and then being shot in full pelt in the chest via a paintball gun, and he was able to tell the colors being shot at him.
Great idea.
A really, really good idea. So just to reiterate, we have Scott Painter with his mini canvas souvenir idea, Nick K with the uncheatable deck, and Jack Grady with the paintball color match. And the winner is Jack Grady. Yeah. Dude, the Spitball Ideas was actually a really fun episode. It's amazing how creative some of our fellows can be and some of the ideas they share. Like, it's actually quite a good time.
I don't know why we don't do it more. Like, we used to do it a fair bit. Yeah, let's, we got to keep that in the roster, guys. We got to keep it in the roster. If you want to be a part of the fam, you got to send in your speak pipes.
Yeah, maybe we should try to commit to doing one every 2 months or one every month or something of that nature.
Yeah, or at least it be like a segment within the episode, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like in an ideal world, you know, if we could get 4 people sending in spitballs every month, we'd have one a week. It could be a segment in the show.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. And yeah, congrats to Jack Grady, who will probably not even hear this or become aware of it. But you can now put it on your website that you are an award-winning magician.
That's right.
So,
yeah.
you know,
And
let's go.
I mean, you literally win nothing. Like these awards are.
I mean, like that's like our FISM award.
Yeah.
That's sad. Anyway, great award, well deserved, and yeah, who knows what will happen next year. Can I throw in a quick gig story before we get to the next award?
You know what? It's perfect because the next thing was an actual gig story. So let's break it up with the gig story. Go ahead.
Oh my God. All right. Well, in that case then, we got to do it properly with
So gig stories is a section of the show where we like to talk about magical moments either while performing for our day-to-day or while doing gigs, starting with a story with our friend from that side of the planet, Josh Nabito.
Hell yeah. So two. I've got 2, but I'll keep them brief. There's so many gigs that happened over December, which is such a blessing. But I made a note because these 2 were just very odd. So the first one, doing a roving gig and doing my classic 1 coin routine where the ending is that this silver coin is going to turn into a copper coin in their hand. Classic of magic, copper silver effect. But what the funny thing was is at the end, when the guy opens his hand and he sees the copper coin, he reacts and it gets a good reaction and it's great. And then he says, because he's an engineer, he's like, yeah, I think in front of like the group of 6 people that just watched it, he's like, I think I know how you did it. And I'm always curious just to hear what they have to say because often it's not actually the method. It's something more impressive. And he's like, you switched it in my hand. You must have switched the coin in my hand. And I'm like, all right, well, let's go deeper on that because that was the effect. The effect is in your hand, I will switch the coin. So all you've done is describe the magic that occurred. He's like, no, you must have gotten in there somehow and swapped it. And so his friends around him questioned him. They're like, so did you see him put the silver coin in your hand? And he's like, yeah. And I reiterated, I'm like, remember, I dropped it openly in your hand and then you closed your hand. They're like, did you see the silver coin? And he's like, yes. So he's false remembering, which is fantastic. And he's like, yeah, I saw him put it in my hand and I closed my hand and I turned my hand over. And then I'm like, all right. And so what you're saying is that somewhere between then, when you turned your hand over and me bringing out the copper coin and introducing it, I somehow swapped it. They went into this downward spiral, which is just so beautiful that eventually they had like nowhere to run essentially. And they made themselves even more fooled. Dragotier says, doing magic for smart people must be so entertaining. It honestly is the easiest group of people to fool. It's so fun. So that happened. Basically, like a sleight of hand trick became like they just fooled themselves so hard. The other notable thing that happened was, and this is something to prepare for as magicians, I was booked to rove for 1 hour at a Christmas party, and it was at a warehouse. But I get there and I realize it's a small warehouse and they only have 15 staff. And I'm there for an hour. And the 15 staff are all sat at one little long table. And they've also just been served dinner. Like they've just spent the afternoon cooking all this barbecue food and stuff. And they've all just sat down. So they're not going to be walking around and allowing me to like rove for small groups or whatever. And I see them all sit down to eat. And I say to the owner, I'm like, oh, I see you're all just about to eat. How about I wait and I come back in half an hour? She's like, no, this is perfect. We're all here seated. I'm like, okay, to watch me rove for an hour? She's like, yeah, do whatever you want. I'm like, okay. So fortunately, like, you know, Nick, when you get to like, you've just done so much work that at this point, instead of like arguing the semantics of what you booked for, whatever, you just like, fuck it. I'll just, whatever needs to be done here, I'm just going to do it. So
Yeah, buddy.
essentially I just started doing my theater and magic show. I just did a 1 hour show at the head of this table. But I will say it was super fun and they were very reciprocal as an audience. But my God, if I didn't have that in my back pocket of like having done parlor shows for 2 hours, 2 years of doing these parlor shows for intimate groups, I would have shat bricks. But essentially I just did all my roving routines. But I did all the extra. I basically did what I would do for a 3-hour roving gig, but for 1 hour because it's the same audience. Lots of riffing, lots of banter, lots of asking them questions to buy up time. And all those extra things that I keep in my pocket that I don't always use, like a fork. I went into a full-on fork bending routine. I normally wouldn't do that. All that kind of fun stuff. All my 5 phases of a rubber band routine and like all this stuff that's like gonna help use up the time. Someone asked, did they not understand that it was a roving gig? Yeah, I think still to this day, I'm surprised that people don't quite grasp what roving is. All the time, or they just are happy. They think they're happy for me to rove around the table of 15 people, and they're just going to let me figure it out. So that will happen sometimes. But fortunately, like they had the best time of their lives, and that wasn't. But it only happened once. Like in all of the gigs I did, that's the only time that happened where someone wasn't sure what roving was, and we ended up doing a 1 hour show for 15 people.
Yeah, it is
Nick,
remarkable how many folks don't understand what the roving game is and how many times they've gone, I've got you on microphone. It's like, I'm roving. No, not needed. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
And then when you explain to them, oh, that's such a better idea. Yeah, that's what roving is. I get it. It's okay for you to not know. You're not in showbiz and you probably don't get out much. But like, it is one of those things where to us, it's just second nature. But to the consumer, it's kind of hard to explain sometimes.
Yeah, it's to the point now where I think I'm going to have to make a video that just dumbs down like a talking to the camera thing that I can send to clients or have on the roving page of the website. Like it just really dumbs down what it is and what it isn't, and then show some video examples. I think that's going to be required.
It's a good idea because putting it in text does not help. Like,
yeah, and I'm going to literally title it "What is Roving Magic?" Yeah, and I might make a generic one so that magicians can just use it to send to their clients when people ask them what the hell it is.
It's probably genuinely because what folks confusing the word roving with roaming.
True. Yeah, true. I mean, I do think it is described very well on my website what it is, but people will skim over that and they just see the price points. They're like, we want him. Oh, we can have him at this price. Let's just do that. And that's all the thought that goes into it.
This price for longer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. 20 minutes for $5,000 or 1 hour for $2,000. I'm inflating my prices here to sound cool, but essentially they're like, oh yeah, we'll pick the 1 hour.
Yeah.
Anyway, Nick, what notable thing comes to mind when you think of your Christmas season?
Man, there's 2 gigs that come to mind. One was at the Mansion, which was a brand new venue built in the middle of Epping. Now, Epping is a bit of a rough area that I grew up in. And it had 250 people at this event, but 130 of them were outside smoking cigarettes.
Wow.
Wow. They were all like beautiful venue, beautiful cars everywhere. There was like a G-Wagon Brabus, dude. It's like $1 million car, like just sitting there. Like this place just reeked money, but didn't exude class by any means. Because again, northern suburbs where I grew up, rough neighborhood. And great people, great fun. But this particular, I don't want to mention the company or anything, right? But pretty decent sort of industry that they're in. And everyone's at front smoking cigarettes because they don't want to be inside because the CEO had the microphone and was just like loving the sound of his own voice. And
Right.
it was dance music, and they were just doing their thing. But he had the microphone, so he was trying to like get up and dance and singing into it. And I rocked up, found the person who booked me. And it's so funny because I remember I rocked with this couple, and I was like, they were just like arms crossed the back of the room, like, I can't believe we got to deal with this. And I was like, they found me, and I was just like, hey, and I was like, I'm looking for this person. And they're like, oh, that's her there. And then I went to, oh, do you want us to shut this down so you can go on stage? I'm like, no, I don't, because that's not what you paid for. I'm out of here. And it was actually a filling gig for an agency who called me and said, this particular performer screwed up, and I need you to bail me out. Can you please find me someone for this much money? And I was like, nobody's going to want to go that far out of town or out of the sort of the city to do this gig at that rate. But I agreed to do it to help them out. So
I really appreciate you covering that gig for me. Yeah.
You're welcome, buddy. Yeah. I mean,
I was busy performing for 15 people for an hour. So I was a little
And then the other gig I did was the very first agency I worked for. They're called Applause Entertainment. They are a great bunch of folks. And in fact, you've done gigs for them as well. Yes.
Applause Entertainment.
Yeah. Right, gang signs. And I did a gig with those folks on a boat. And thankfully, I try not to be the guy that like controls everything at a gig, that there's like professionals for that. But thank goodness I did, because I would have been in one of those situations where I got in the boat and then they dumped me an hour and a half drive away and been like, oh, it's just a one-way trip 3 years later. I'm like, no. We're parked back where we came from. So thank goodness I mediated all that and got it all done. But the point was that it was myself and drunk Santa, like bad Santa. And Santa got seemingly, inverted commas, drunk, shit-faced, if you will. And it was because he's actually so good at acting drunk that everyone thought he was drunk. But he generally wasn't drunk. He was like, he had all these bottles of whiskey, but they were all filled with tea that he had made. So, and he was chugging it and drinking away. But he was so like we're on there for a couple of hours, I think it was, and he just progressively got more and more drunk. And he's wearing a Santa suit while doing his thing. And the funniest thing was that like his pants just kept falling down at the most perfect time. Like he just, like we're doing his thing, and then all of a sudden his pants would just fall down, like just by themselves, like just by nature, like the way that the costume was, the pants just kept falling down. But they kept falling down at the most perfect comical moment. And everyone was just losing it. There was only about 100 people on this boat, this charter. It was loose as anything. And then after that, like we got dressed and got off the boat, and he was sober as a judge. But everyone was like worried about him because he was that good at acting drunk. Like it was quite fun. And so I was like a magical elf to do my thing and entertain people. And then we had like Mrs. Claus, who was trying to keep him in order. And it was just funny as we're doing really silly stuff. We had like fake bags of cocaine to try and get him to sober up and all kinds of stuff. Like it was really, really wild. But that was probably one of the most fun ones I've done at this over the period. Like it was.
That's fun. Like
it was really good.
Hiring a drunk Santa or to get drunk.
Yeah. And then he's drinking with everyone, but he's pouring real drinks in theirs, and he's drinking just tea with everyone else. Everyone was like, oh, I'm getting drunk with Santa. Like it was really fun. Really
so
fun.
Clever.
Yeah.
That's so clever. Is there a market for the drunk magician?
We joked about that, doing a show where like every time we do a thing, we got to take a shot so that by the end of the show we're tanked. And it could be like every time you say a stock line, you take a shot, or every time you do a trick, you take a shot, or you know, like it's like just you make it like a drinking game. So that's something we played with for a while.
Because I'm sure there's to it everywhere, but in Brisbane there was a really popular Shakespeare play where I don't know the name of it now, but essentially the cast were drunk. So the idea is you would come and watch a Shakespeare play while all the actors are legitimately wasted.
Interesting.
And it was so funny that it played 5 nights a week and like was a sellout. It was like, honestly, at the Theatre of Magic, we were sitting back going, how the hell is a drunk play selling so many tickets every week? But it did so well. And I wonder if people would pay to see the late night version of maybe even the same show, but just while you're actually hammered. Like, how much money would you pay to watch Penn and Teller do their theater show, but actually wasted? Like, I think that would be quite funny, you know, because you're not going to put up with as much when people heckle. You're going to forget some stuff. You're going to maybe drop a few coins that you're not meant to. It's kind of funny. No?
Interesting thought, man. You know, one of my favorite shows is Drunk History, because I love history. And it's basically they have a presenter who will tell a story from history, but get absolutely plastered before telling it. You guys should scope it out. I think it's on Prime. It's worth scoping out. If not, there's tons of episodes on YouTube, but I think it's totally worth it. So circling back to gig stories, we have 2 nominations for the best gig story of 2025. Nomination number 1 goes to Patton Gillian, our friend from Las Vegas, in which he told a story where he was performing at a private function for what seemingly was for the Russian mafia, and ended up being a pretty wonderful experience for himself. Outside of that, there is another nominee, which is our friend April Choi. Now, April Choi, our friend from NASA, and also absolute genius cardsmith and memory worker and everything else that she does because she's a superstar, was telling a story which she was performing at a convention. And whilst practicing her whip routine, the cracking of the whip was so loud that it was mistaken for gunshots. And the police actually arrived at the venue mistakenly thinking that it was her. So we have effectively Patton Gillian doing The Machine Russian Mafia performance versus April Choi mistaken John Wick experience. The winner of the 2025 Best Gig Story is Patton Gillian. Yeah.
Patton Gillian, you are also now an award-winning magician. Congratulations. And please accept nothing from us.
Yeah.
As a token of our appreciation.
Yeah. The award means nothing. It's like how your ex is doing. Doesn't mean anything. Just doesn't matter. Not one bit. So next one. The next thing, we'll save that one for last. Okay. The next thing is best interview. Now, we've had a lot of interviews over this season. In fact, one of the most humbling things I found, and I think that Josh and I will attest to this, is that like we do definitely prospect and ask a lot of folks to be on our show. But and I say this because I give you guys, the listeners, the credit, because it's gotten to the point now where when we do ask people and they do agree to be on the show, they actually say, what do they say, Josh?
What? Christopher Wayne distracted me. He was saying,
okay. What they actually say is they go, I was waiting for you to ask me. I've been waiting for you to ask me to be on the show. And it's like, why don't you just say, I would have put you on the show.
That's right.
Yeah.
Where, it's an open door. If you're very, very successful, won awards, we watch you on social media. No. We love having our friends come on. And yeah, you're right. It's just a matter of like, it's like that weird thing where you don't want to ask your friend a favor, but like they want to. And so eventually you ask them and they're like, why didn't I do this, 4 years ago,
Absolutely.
200 episodes ago?
Yeah. Now, for the best interview of 2025, we have 3 nominees. The first one is Dennis Kim. Dennis Kim, who is also known as a consultant for the amazing Dan White, and in my opinion, probably responsible for everything amazing he has to do. He produced one of the most amazing bits of online content for the FISM competition in which everything was done in reverse. And if you recall, he did the entire episode, the entire interview against a mirror in reverse.
Wild.
And fooled the crap out of us.
Yeah, especially if you listen to that on Spotify. You just would have no idea.
Yeah.
Because it was audio only, Nick. It was, they couldn't see him. But I couldn't believe it. I almost ended because he waited till the very end in the final word. And like, for those listening, I'm just waiting with my finger on a button to hit the end stinger. And whenever I think he's finished, talking is when I'm going to hit end. I almost ended the podcast before he revealed that he was talking to a mirror. It was like, that's how fooled I was, and just thought he was just ending with, just a casual bit of advice. Crazy commitment.
He got us good. He got us so good. Now, outside of that, we have Franco Pasquale. He got a lot of love in that episode. And
freaking, what a G.
And the thing is, like, that interview was so great, but sitting opposite him, just in conversation without a pack of playing cards, is literally one of the most wonderful things you can experience as well. Like, it's really staggering how good he is in all facets of thought, and like the depth of thought that guy has, not just with magic, but everything. He's such a dude, is what I have to say. So it was a very well received episode, and he got a ton of votes as a result. So outside of that is UK's very own daredevil, Jonathan Goodwin, who hadn't done an abundance of interviews since the unpleasantness of his accident. But we were celebrating the release of his book, where he shared a lot of his stunts and all the information he's gathered over the years on his, and he held back nothing in that book. It is worth every penny. It's as big as an atlas, and it's like the thickness of a Bible, and it is just, it's phenomenal. Like, I think it's one of my favorite books I read this year. So, so to reiterate, we have Dennis Kim fooling the crap out of us. We have Franco Pasquale sharing a wealth of knowledge, and we also have Jonathan Goodwin sharing his amazing wealth of knowledge and kindness. And the winner is, by the smallest of margins, Dennis Kim.
Oh, yeah.
One of the guys is saying that every time he sees him up on his feet, he thinks it's Cillian Murphy, which is pretty funny.
Yeah. Who? Franco.
Yeah.
So funny. Yeah. Franco and Dennis, just two very charming, handsome looking gents, And
I think that I think if them two and maybe Blaze Shera had a baby, it'd be staggering.
There's so much wrong with that. But yes. Franco, and it's so funny how laid back Franco is. Like, he's so in depth about his magic, but he's so laid back as a person. Like, he'll just go with the flow. Like when we were in Vegas, he's just like sitting down jamming all day in the bar. He's like, whatever, I'll have some tequila. Like, let's riff about a certain type of effect. I'll show you something, and just fries us for 5 minutes. Then he'll like watch someone else. Then he'll be like, that's great. Very, very thoughtful, but also just like whatever, Doesn't put out any of the clips that would make him blow up even more, where he's, teaching Brad Pitt to do magic for the movie. And I saw a clip pop up where it's like one of the girls from, what's the movie called, Nick?
A movie?
Oh my God. It was on the tip of my tongue. The singing movie that's so stupid that I'm not remembering
you're thinking
right now.
You're thinking the Wicked movie.
No, someone's going to put it in the comments before us because we're stupid. The a cappella groups. Come on, people of the internet.
Is it Dreams?
Not Glee. Oh, this is getting worse by the second. I'm going to get a phone call from Christopher Wayne.
I'm normally really good at
it's goddamn blah, blah, blah.
A recent movie?
Oh my God. Pitch Perfect. Thank you, Magic of Seth. Oh God, I was going to have an aneurysm. So one of the actresses of Pitch Perfect went to see a show of Franco Pasquale, and then she raved about it on morning TV about having gone to see Franco's show. Like, what a review to have someone use their time on national TV to start by talking about your show.
Yeah.
Insane. That's just to say how good he is. And
you would almost assume that, like, with the amount of success and talent he has, he's this like extreme go-getter, like this Tony Robbins level, like go-getter, like just like obsessive. But the guy's so chill. Like,
yes,
it's phenomenal.
Yep.
Yeah,
indeed.
Yeah. So credit to him, and also well done to Dennis Kim. I think a well-deserved winner of that award. So hooray.
100%.
Okay. So as you know, we do a whole very vast range of different types of episodes, one of which is the history lesson. So we have a couple of nominees for the best history lesson. It was a very, very close battle. The two episodes nominated for best history lesson are the episode on the amazing Kreskin, being one of the leading mentalists of our time, who sadly passed away within this year. And so we paid homage to that amazingly talented person, responsible for so many wonderful facets in mentalism, most notably the ability to take his paycheck and hide it within a studio or theater, and just using the Jedi Force, for lack of a better word, being able to find where that was actually hidden within the venue. So like he left an amazing legacy behind as a result of that. So power to him. The second and final nominee is the Christmas Magic Kit episode, where we talked about the mythology of where, as we said in the episode, where magic begins for a lot of us, and it obviously begins for some generation of kids and professionals alike, the magic kit being their very first kit they got for Christmas. And so we spoke about how that began and to where it is today. And it was a great episode because Doug had so many examples of those in the shop, which he shared live on that episode. So if you haven't seen it, by all means, check it out. So we have two nominees, the Amazing Kreskin and the Christmas Magic Kit episode. And the winner by only one vote is the Amazing Kreskin.
Just want to point out that Nick writes all the history episodes. So, well done. Nick was going to win either way, really, but
what is
the people's choice. Well, like they're both episodes that you wrote because you write all the history episodes. So
I write them to share them, but I didn't vote for them. Everyone votes for them.
Yeah, but you did decide to include it as a category. I'm just saying,
Well,
but it is
if
true.
you want to do an awards show, right? You can make up your own awards. You can do, you know what? Why don't you? Let's do one for next year, and it'll be which host has the best hair. Go.
That's going to be tricky. No, it'll be like which intro to the podcast has been the best over the year, and it'll be like, oh, the one where Josh was singing, or is it the one where Josh was dancing? Because I intro the episodes.
It would be pretty upset if I won one because I've only ever introed two of episodes. You'd be pretty upset. You'd be like, the one that Nick K did that one time.
I'd be like, I've had enough. You're already copying my hairstyle, and now you want to fucking come and take my awards. That's true.
Yeah.
No, that's true. We are actually the same person.
That's right. This is just
like
an
we,
AI.
we could share.
Do the mirror. We're going to do the mirror reveal right now. Here we go.
Like, look at that. Like right now, our heads are almost the same size on camera. So like we almost do look the same. My head looks a little bit more yellow because there's a bit of saturation in my camera, I guess. But I'm going to get that looked at. Anyway.
Speaking of episodes I'm responsible for, let's talk about the best educational episodes. So we do some educational episodes where we have talked about things in the past, like which routine should be, retired. That was probably one of my favorite episodes from the year before. We had a whole abundance of them. Now there's two that are up for nomination this year for the best educational episode. I was actually staggered by these results, but the two that were nominated were the preparation list. So on episode 244, we had a whole episode about how to prepare for the crazy Christmas period that we've all just gone through over the month of November and December. And that episode was literally so good and so filled with knowledge that I implore anyone who is looking at getting into magic to revisit that one like every year, just to recap the things you should be doing in preparation for that. And I was literally getting texts and phone calls from friends who listened to the episode going, man, that episode helped me so much get prepared for the crazy season. So I thought it was a shoo-in for that reason. But there was another nomination, which was purely based off scenarios. And the episode was number 218. And it was titled, What Would You Do stressful magician scenarios, and effectively it was what would you do if this happened, and what would you do if that happened? So it's always scenarios that we'd have actually experienced in our day-to-day or normal performing life, but it was certain scenarios that if they were to happen, how would you handle it? So those were the two episodes that we had, and again, winning by a single vote. The winner is What Would You Do? Stressful Magician Scenarios, episode number 218. I was actually staggered by that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I guess when you think about it, that is the more crucial thing to be able to fix in it. Like if something goes wrong, as opposed to like preparing, perhaps. But it's interesting. Yeah, both episodes are going to super help you. The Christmas gig preparing one, honestly, is something you could listen to at any point in the year because it's things that should be considered all the time. And yeah, same with what should you do if?
Yeah, and I think that it's also pretty hard to think on your feet, and sometimes preparing for what could possibly go wrong is equally as important as actually preparing to ensure it doesn't happen at all.
Yeah. We actually had a what would you do if speak pipe come in. And I wasn't really going to play it because it did sound, it's a bit off topic, but should we do a little what would you do if right now? Should we?
Sure, man. We got time. There's only 3 or 4 more awards to go, so we may as well.
Okay. Hell yeah. Well, look, I'll just say it because it's a pretty straightforward one. Our friend Adam, he sent in a speak pipe. Essentially, he inadvertently swatted a wasp at an outdoor event into. He's saying girl, but I'm hoping he's meaning a woman. Anyway, he accidentally swatted a wasp mid-performance into someone else, and it stung them, like the spectator. So you've essentially had a wasp flying around you. You've swatted it into the spectator, and they've gotten stung, and then you're just left with like, what do you do? And he was like really dumbfounded. He's like, I tried to offer them like, can I show you another trick to make you feel better? Like, no, I'm fucking stung, you idiot. And so, yeah, what do you do?
Buddy, that is so crazy. Like,
yeah, like that is unlucky.
That is just 50 kinds of unlucky. And they can't be blaming Adam, could they? Oh, it says here, that one was mine.
Worse.
That one was mine. She was like 5 or 6. Oh, crap. There is no consoling.
Adam.
Yeah.
Oh, and Adam, just for clarification, did she get stung or did the wasp just like hit her and fly away? Because that would also freak them out. But it sounded like they got stung. But let's run with the stinging scenario, right?
Right.
So,
yeah.
Great. All the family's around and you're trying to win them over by like impressing this little girl, and then you swat a wasp into her face and he's saying, I'm pretty sure she got stung. Now you're the enemy of like everyone there. For that moment, it's going to feel like it. It's not your fault.
Like in the cartoons,
right?
In the cartoons where like he goes up to a beehive and he puts all the bees in his mouth and gets a pipe and he spits pipes like a semi-automatic weapon. Like it wasn't that kind of scenario. It wasn't done with malice, but I can appreciate. I think this is what I think. I think that nobody is actively going to be mad at you for what happened, what transpired. But what I do think is the fact that you feel so bad about it, Adam, just speaks volumes to the lovely, caring character that you are. And so it's okay to feel bad about it. And I don't even know how to combat that. I'm not going to say, like, you can't prevent that. Like, what do you do? Like, you just, before every outdoor show, I spray all children with Aero Guard. Like, what are you supposed to do, bud?
Yeah. I mean, look, some measures you could take is number 1, take some tennis lessons, learn how to swat away from spectators. Like SWAT 101. Like if it's here, don't go like this towards the girl, right? I think that's like pretty obvious. But you know, the girl still could have gotten stung, but that's obviously number one. Try and swat away from the little kids. SWAT.
Right.
Repeat, everyone, SWAT away from the little kids, okay?
Yeah.
And then I think you just have to go into first aid mode, right? Like, be like, where's the parent? Look, she's accidentally gotten stung by a wasp. Don't believe anything she says. I'm going to go get her some ice from the kitchen. Like, I think you just have to do a duty of care kind of thing now. Like, just stop being a magician for a sec. Like, make sure they're okay. And then I guess, I'm just trying to think what the hell I guess what I would do is after the gig, like the next day, maybe I send a little care package to the girl. Like a, you know, hope you're okay. Like, you know, maybe there's a toy in it. Like, I don't know, maybe it's magic related or maybe it's not or something, you know, just something to be like, leave a good feeling.
You know, the Stingo's spray, you ever use that? It's like a Stingo's spray. It's like, you ever seen it? No?
Yeah. Dragotier saying lucky ladybug, but the wasp version. Wow.
Dude, Scholar, I got an idea.
That's so fucking funny.
That is very
so
funny.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just super unlucky. It's one of those times where sometimes things just happen where there's no like funny remark or thing to get out of it. You got to deal with it. You know, like if a break fight's out at a gig.
Break fights.
Is that what I said? If a break
That's
fight's
exactly
out.
what you said.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to get drunk to start that idea of performing. This is the podcasting drunk. Yeah, if a fight breaks out, that's going to be awkward and you're just going to have to stop. Yeah. I love watching Jimmy Carr has a lot of clips where things actually happen in the audience and he has to stop the show to sort them out. And sometimes you just got to break character and just fucking sort it out. And I think that's the only way around it. Yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable, but that's it. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's going to happen. But look, again, you know, we have these fun stories because you guys contribute to them. And one of our great contributors is responsible for our next award. So the next award is Greenrooms. For those of you that don't know, we have a Discord, which this is where we're collating all this data and getting our votes from. Now, in amongst that, we have a separate channel dedicated to our good friend, Drago Tier 1. And what we do is we post every time we are at a event and we have basically either really good or really ordinary green room that we have to perform out of. And our good friend Dragotier will actually judge out of 10 your green rooms. And so he actually put a full PowerPoint presentation together for this award. And so it basically sparked the whole intention of us doing this award. This was the first one ever done. I was like, well, if Nick's going to put the effort in, Nick being Dragotier, I guess that I'm going to have to put some effort in and do a whole awards episode. So let me see. This is my first time doing this type of thing with the StreamYard. So thank you for your kindness as I pull this together. But as you can see, we have top 3 best and worst green rooms of 2025 by Dragotier, aka Nick. So I need to make this bigger so I can see it. Okay, here we go. Submitted by Tim Raymond. It's for the listeners of the pod. It's a full-size basketball court from about quarter court.
Wow. That's your green room.
It's enormous. And I think that's third best by the looks of it. The next slide was submitted by Sideways Simon. This is the third worst. There's too much wood panel. It's effectively imagine a beaver made a green room. That is effectively what you guys are looking at. In the corner there is what looks like to be a coffee machine and a soap dispenser, but that is about it. So that is the third worst. Second best was submitted by Scotty P, which is actually a green cricket / AFL oval, which appears to be his green room. So thank you for
a lot of green. Yeah, it's gone for the nature green.
Yeah.
Doesn't get any more greener than that.
The second worst, submitted by Nick K. It was I remember this gig well. It was an office that was just had crap littered everywhere, but in the corner was this Monstera plant that would just look so dilapidated, like it hadn't seen a drink of water in 6,000 years, to the point I actually ended up watering it myself. And this one is titled second worst poor plant, as done by Nick. So yeah. Now let's go to our best green room. The best green room was again submitted by me, Nick K. Everything was green at this room, to the point where it had green carpets, green chairs, green painted walls, and was actually on a golf course right next to the green on holes 4 and 5. So it couldn't really get much greener than that. So that was a full 10 for myself. And the first worst was actually submitted by myself, but from a buddy of mine who was doing a show. His name is Felix. And this photograph is a disabled toilet. It's pretty. Yeah. Wow. In the comments, there's a lot of folks.
Why? What was the decision, the artistic decision, to actually spread the cards out on your pop-up table while while you're in there? The toilet doesn't even have a flip down cover. It's just open to the elements where that card could. That's just so many questions. But I love how well he packed all of his stuff to the side. Is that his stuff on the side, or is that?
You know what, buddy? I don't know, but it's in a cardboard box, and I don't imagine. Yeah, and it looks almost surgical. I say that because it looks like when you watch the movies and there's like a nursery, and then you have that baby like on that little trolley on a plastic thing, and it's like that's what it looks like in there. I'm sure those cards are scented now. I think so too. Adam, that is yeah.
So, well, I guess that is the place where you would do a deck pick, you know?
Yeah. So and of course the presentation finishes by saying ski later for my friend Dragotier. So thank you, Dragotier. That is
yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
And I'd just like to circle back to my comedy gold of saying a deck pick. I mean, you know, that was top tier. He was in a toilet. There's a deck spread out, you know, deck pick. Anyway, I would win an award for that if it was for worst puns. But it's not in the Discord, so.
Okay.
Like, Nick's won 2 awards, but anyway, we'll move on.
Well, don't be jealous. Okay. Next award. There's only a couple more to go. The next one is the Magic Guys Trick of the Year. So it is a trick that we've either seen, saw at Magic Live, tinkered with, but it has been released in the year of 2025. There are 3 nominations for this one. The first one is Eject, released by our good friends from Trick Boom. It is a Sharpie pen launcher. It is sick. So that is nominee number 1. Secondly is the inversion board by Patata. I actually got an email today saying that they are now releasing a different version of that. So the inversion board is effectively a reverse impression pad in which you can have things sent to it. Like, so let's just say that I write something down and I say, Josh, name any basketball team, and then you say it, and then I can then go to the inversion board, and written in chalk, inverted commas, I turn it around and it is written there. So there is a whole series of awesomeness you can have. I actually purchased one myself for a particular routine that I'm working on. So it is a good bit of kit. And also because I like, I've ditched like all my whiteboard stuff and I'm going full chalk because of the vintage notion that the Theater of Magic has. It's a very vintage experience, and we're trying to give people the old style thing. So big fan of the inversion board. That being said,
ink to chalk, baby.
Yeah, buddy. But I bring that up because just today they've released a blackboard version that does the same thing, but it is actually like a whiteboard. Sorry, a whiteboard version that does the same sort of thing where you can have images and things sent to it. So,
so you can tailor your routines now depending on the modern.
Yeah, and it's cheaper because it's cheaper to manufacture because the inversion board's like crafted from wood, and like quite a bit of work goes into it. So it's like nearly half the price. Like it's insanely good for the money. And then so we have the Eject launching Sharpie. We have the inversion board by Pitata, and lastly we have the Greek Peak wallet, which I also have. It is a really, really good piece of mentalism apparatus. So the ability to write a prediction down, pop it in the wallet, and get a peak. It is really, really good. Of all the versions I've seen to be able to do it, this is by far the best. So those are the 3 things that were nominated. By a single vote. Looks like it. Yeah, by a single vote. The winner is the inversion board by Pitata, which I was a bit staggered by, considering how expensive it is. Yeah.
I mean, personally, I will say I've been using the Eject at every single stage show I've been doing. And it's been just so fun to have that bit of extra stuff. And I want to buy a few. I want to have like multiple of them, you know, like that's how much I love them. Yeah. Whereas, you know, the inversion board is some crazy shit, right? That's some crazy stuff. But there's something to be said, at least the reason why I don't delve into that realm is because, you know, we were at Magic Live, and I won't bring up the company because, you know, shit happens sometimes, but like they were demoing a piece of electronic mentalism, and it's very expensive, but it can do some crazy stuff. Doing a demonstration, and he's like, and now if you turn it over, it'll say the blah, blah, blah. And I turned it over and it didn't say it. And he's like, oh, there's just a connectivity issue in here. That's all. But like, it will work. And I'm like, you can't base saying it will work when you're here demoing to me that it will work and saying this is $5,000. I'm sorry, this will never go in my act. And it's unfortunate that it didn't work for me, but like, I just can't risk that, you know? So like, there's something to be said about like the Greek wallet, for example. I love that it's based on your handling and like, you're in control of it, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's 2 peaks of that nature that I've been tinkering with. One's by Mark Lemon, the Idyllic Peak, I think it's called, using the technology that's based in your phone, and a little apparatus that sticks to the back of it. Really clever bit of kit, genius for the money. Like it's crazy good, like as opposed to getting a technical impression pad or anything of that nature. So yeah, it is a good bit of kit. And Herbert, good to see you, buddy. Glad you made it. So we have 2 more awards to go and a few minutes left in the episode. So I was actually staggered by the result of this one. I'm very happy about the result, but the last 2 awards are, here we go. For second last week, let's go with this. Let's go with the Magic Guys Book of the Year. As you guys know, I'm an avid reader of all Magic books, and there's a few that were released this year that really struck a chord with me, which I put out to everyone else and asked, hey, what else do you guys are in for? And we came down to these 3 books released this year. The first one was Strolling for Dollars by Jason Bird. We had him on an episode talking about the book. He shared an absolute wealth of knowledge on the episode, and we can only assume there's even more knowledge within the pages of his book. Secondly, we have the Practice Playbook by Eric Uhouse. Now, that was probably one of my favorites this year, most definitely. One of my top 2 for sure. And we were in that book because previously, I think it was the year before, where Eric Uhouse ended up interviewing us, the Magic Guys, on our very own show, and then asked us the questions, then put all that information into the book. So I cannot recommend that book enough. I think it's one of the most important books for any upcoming magician, alongside Maximum Entertainment. So I think it is an absolute killer book. And the last book is In the Spotlight by Christopher Carter. I'm going to reach out to that superstar and ask him if he will be on our show, because that book, it was definitely one of my most favorite books as far as ideas and as far as mentalism go. I don't love mentalism like everyone does, but I love how clever it is. I think I think it's an absolute killer book. So from the three that we have Strolling for Dollars by Jason Bird, which is about how to be a full-time magician in the strolling roving realm. Secondly, we have The Practice Playbook by Eric Uhouse, where there's an abundance of different magicians, including Josh and myself, have been published in. And last, we have In the Spotlight by Christopher Carter. And the winner is Practice Playbook by Eric Uhouse. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Does that mean technically that award also goes to us because we are featured in the book?
Yeah, it also goes to Jeff McBride and Nick Locapo and
Sure. Yeah, they're great too.
Everyone else who was in it as well.
They made massive world influences on magic, but we were also in the book for a short spot. What I'm saying is, can I now put on my website that I'm an award-winning magician? And when they say, what is the award? I'm like, well, a book that was gifted on our podcast, the best book of the year, was featured us in the content. So the award went to us inadvertently, and therefore that's why it says I'm an award-winning magician. Anyway, look, that was really great. And I think we have time for one more. So poetic that we get to the last award at the end of the episode.
That's right. It is the last episode of the year. And guys, it's been a good year. It's been an absolute blast. And I think that we've obviously achieved a lot in the past year. We've just been doing what we love with the people we love doing it with. And you guys have been along for the journey. We've set up some amazing friendships, and we've set up I think that we've established a really wonderful community where we all hang out. Like, I was in the Discord after the episode last week, and it's one of those things you tell yourself, I'm just going to pop on for a half hour. And then someone pops in and someone pops in. And then before you know it, 3.5, 4 hours later, it's like time to go. So it is great. So after this episode, I will endeavor to make it a habit to have a little after party after every episode and hang out there for at least a half hour. So it's something that when we spoke about it, it added a lot of value to you guys to be able to talk openly, and obviously for us to sort of hear from you guys directly as to what we should be doing to add value to your magic lives. So that was one of the most important things. So before we sign off, a personal thank you from me, Josh.
No, I got nothing. What's the award?
Okay, the award is...
I'm kidding. No, it has been awesome. Like every year, our community gets better. And this year, I think we even saw, thank you to FISM, the award just allowed us to get into more ear holes, and we saw that even before that happened, going to, it was after it happened. Going to Vegas was so cool to meet a lot of our fellow listeners and just to see real people that are consuming it. And so that was dope. And so, yeah, just thank you for this, there being a point to doing this, because it ain't for money, you know what I mean? But it is for the camaraderie and just like knowing that we're spewing out some stuff that we've learned and it's like helping you guys in some way. That is honestly the best. And selfishly, I get a lot out of it too. Like it helps me practice my talking skills. No, I can't get my words out now. I'm tearing up. No, but selfishly, it helps me work on my riffing ability and thinking of what I'm going to say on the spot and interviewing people. And same with Nick, it's helped him with his writing skills and interviewing skills and like it honestly, it does help us in a way, but also like we just get so much from seeing you guys grow and learn from it too. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, like one of my favorite things, I mean, I do a lot of research when it comes to doing the history lessons and as well as that, our interviews. And when I ask questions, my favorite thing to hear is when people say, fuck, that's a good question. It's like, that's what I'm aiming for. You know what I mean?
And Tim is correct. I thought it was for pudding. That too. We should almost...
How did you go? Did you finish it?
No way. It's still in the fridge, actually, if anyone wants any. But and also thank you for those who weren't here last week, our live viewers sent in, they DoorDashed Doug some pudding live on the air. And I think that's hilarious. And I think that's honestly something we should do more of because it's so funny. right, we have one last award.
We do have one last award. And I think in true fashion, the way we end every episode that we do, almost every episode, is with the final word. And that being said, these are the nominees for the best final word for 2025. Our first nominee is the amazing Jeff Hobson. Now, Jeff Hobson was politely just sharing some advice after a convention.
After a lecture. Yeah.
A lecture, that's right. Yeah. So Josh took it upon himself, had a nice conversation with him, and he dispelled some wisdom, some beautiful wisdom, which was shared on episode number 213. So if you want to hear that final word, you can do that as well on that episode. Jason Bird is our second nominee, who, as mentioned, wrote the Strolling for Dollars book. And he, after sharing an abundance of wealth, departed the episode with some even wiser words. And that is on episode number 238. So you're welcome to scope out that one as well. And then finally, we have the amazing John Armstrong, who was kind enough to come on our show, dispense boatloads of knowledge and wisdom to the point where he was kind enough to sign some books for us, which I collected from Vegas, bless his heart. His amazing book, How to Win. And that was on episode number 228. And it certainly did have a big impact on you guys, the listeners, because the winner of the best final word in 2025 is...
Or should we just play it? Should we just play it and that's how we end the episode?
Well, it is... No, we should say who it is in case, like, whose voice was that?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. The winner of the... Just because maybe Dylan wants to cut this little edit vocal thing, so I'll say one more time.
Get ready. Okay.
And the winner of the best final word of 2025 is John Armstrong.
So go out there and do good magic, but mostly make people feel like they matter.
Thanks for listening. It's time for us to disappear now. But we'll see you again on the next episode of The Magic Guys.